and I am working as an Urban Green Infrastructure Intern at the City of Terre Haute. So the City of Terre Haute has partnered with the McKinney Climate Fellow program this summer, and so the McKinney Climate Fellow program comes from IU. So basically, a bunch of cities apply to the McKinney Climate Fellow program, and they're either looking for an Urban Green Infrastructure Intern, or they're looking for a Climate Action Program Intern, or they're doing both. And so the City of Terre Haute applied and was looking for an Urban Green Infrastructure Intern. And then I apply separately. And so basically they pair interns with cities, and then the city gets a say in like what interns they want. And so Anna, who's the urban forester, selected me, and so I said yes. And so a lot of the programs are remote, but the City of Terre Haute one was in person, and I honestly wouldn't have had it any other way because it's so much better and fulfilling to be like in the city I'm working in and getting to know the people. And so yeah, so I came here for the summer. I got here I think 3 weeks into May, so mid-May, and I've been here for I think 9 weeks now, and then I'll be heading back at the end of July. I had a few deliverables through my program. One was to complete an equity-focused analysis of the city's like best priority planting zones, and so I've been working on GIS doing that, and now I'm actually creating the tree planting plan. But in the beginning, I didn't have the data. I didn't get the data for probably 2 to 3 weeks. And so I was working on a few of the planting areas that Anna had previously planted in the fall and in the spring of last year. And so I was going through, I was identifying trees, which was very new to me. I got like my little book and I had my neon vest, and I was going around and looking at all of them and putting them into the tree inventory and updating that. So for future plantings and for figuring out like the diversity of trees in an area, we have those trees inputted in there. And so that was probably weeks like 1 and 2. Week 3, I got the data, I started working with it. I did that for probably like 2 to 3 weeks. It was a lot of analysis. And then probably like 2 weeks ago, I finally had a map that had all of my red zones, which are high priority, and then through low priority. And so now I've been driving around with Anna. We've been checking the spots that are red, highest priority, and then orange, which are just high priority, and figuring out what are the possible planting spaces in there, like what size planting spaces. So we're looking at like small, medium, large, what trees could potentially go there. And our next step is community engagement, which we want to put a lot of focus on, because since this is like an equity focused tree planting plan, you can't have that without involving the community. And so we'll be putting door stoppers on the homes that we've identified, and it will be totally up to them whether they want a tree, whether their community wants to participate in a tree planting, asking them if they would like to receive the benefits of a tree versus telling them, hey, we're gonna plant here. Basically, when I say an equity-focused tree planting plan, it means addressing the fact that some people have a disproportionate amount of trees, whether that be a higher number or a lower number, and because of this like disproportionate amount of trees, they might be experiencing more effects of climate change. So a lot of the neighborhoods here that don't have a lot of tree cover are going to experience higher temperatures, more heat-related illnesses, more effects of flooding, higher cooling and energy costs, and a lot of stuff like that. And so when I say an equity-focused tree planting plan, that means looking at these areas that don't have as much tree cover and thus are experiencing like negative effects, and bringing it to the level so everyone is equal. So I've never done a tree planting plan before, and so all the steps and all like the details that you need to focus on in making that happen was really surprising to me. I was thinking, oh, I just like go around, I pick some spots for trees, I ask the residents if they would like one and call it good. But there's so much more analysis that goes into it. Like I spent 2 weeks on finding the priority areas and looking at all of the environmental variables like slope and soil permeability and erosion factors and heat islands and floodplains and all of these things that's gonna find where is the best to plant what kind of tree, and where we can plant trees to basically make Terre Haute the most resilient. And so on one hand, you're finding the right tree, right place for the environment, and on the other hand, you're finding right tree, right place for helping to like curb factors you see from climate change. So you have like if it's gonna rain more, we're gonna focus on planting more trees that deal with like wetter soil. And with like higher temperatures, we're probably gonna plant trees that do better or have a higher tolerance for sunlight. And so, yeah, right tree, right place goes into environmental factors, and then I also think it goes into like the social factors, because if you start planting trees in areas where the residents don't want trees, or the government hasn't like clearly communicated to them that like there could be trees here, then a lot of residents just like dig up the trees, and so that's never good. And so the equity-focused tree planting plan goes towards communicating to residents and having more of a dialogue between them. So like right tree, right place, not only for the environment, but for the residents as well. And so that's why the tree planting plan that I made focuses on socio-demographic variables as well as environmental variables, because you can't create a equity-focused tree planting plan without looking at the community and which residents aren't receiving those benefits.